should we do our little dance about? Yeah. So you found this quote, and let's
Yeah.
see
So
what.
one of the big things we talk about here on the RideShare Guy, Show Me the Money Club, just normal videos as well, is basically how to work smarter, maximize your earnings, and pass on the stuff that's crap. So we wanted to begin doing driver education, basically figuring out different things when it comes to profitability and making the most amount of money that you possibly can, and then also knowing that point of when it's not going to be worth it versus when it is worth it. So we're going to be talking about this today. But yeah, I just found this earlier actually, and I texted Sergio and I said, "Hey, look at this. This will fit in well with today." So this is a post that I saw on Reddit. He said, "Is driving for Uber worth the wear and tear and mileage on my car?" He said, "I drove for Uber for one entire year. My goal was to only make about $50 per day, which I accomplished. At the end of the year, I took all of my receipts for gas, maintenance, insurance, and incidentals to my accountant, who did the math and filed the return for him. Bottom line was, I broke even. So for one full year of my life, I got up every day at 5:30 in the morning and basically drove hundreds of people to work and school for free. Someone should develop a rideshare app where the rides are free for both driver and passenger. Maybe I'll be stupid enough to sign up for that too."
Yeah.
So
Well, there you go. So
that
not every
is
driver, look, not every driver is in this situation. I get it. There's a little embellishment here, of course. Look, man, we say this, we say it all the time. I get a lot of pushback. I get emails. You're saying decline garbage, but then I have to make money. I have to put food on the table. I'm not telling you not to make money. I'm just telling you, if you knew your costs, then you know what garbage looks like. Because if you don't know your costs, and I'm pretty certain in this, that 90+% drivers do not do spreadsheets for their shifts. They don't have their profitability matrix set up, because maybe people on our chat do, but that's only a couple, 300 people. And then afterwards, if 10,000 people watch it, I don't know how many of them do. Because anytime I hear, if I see one more time, oh, I made 300 today, oh, I made 2,000 this week. Sir, ladies, you did not make squat. You did not make that. You grossed that. Now, time has come to be honest with yourselves, okay? Because every Tuesday, when the cha-ching hit your bank account and you feel all these endorphins flowing in your head, that's not real money. You spend a whole bunch of that money to get that 2,000. In business, this is your small business. Dara Kosher Shai said that on our interview. This is your small business. You drive 1 hour or you drive 100 hours. You need to know what your costs are. In order for you to have profitability matrix, you have to know what your costs are. It could range from dollars per mile, online hours, active hours, door-to-door hours, dollars per trip, whatever. I could count on and on and on. I do it even if I drive 3 hours. I've done it for the last 6 months when I'm doing deliveries. I know exactly what my matrix are. So when I tell you guys decline garbage, know your worth, I'm not blowing smoke up my ass. I'm just telling you guys, if you knew your cost, maybe if your cost is low enough, right, that 60 cents a mile trip you could take and still be profitable. But for a lot of people, it's not. So with that said, let's go to our education series and let's run through it. Now, I did an article on a Syracuse driver who is on our blog. His name is Levi. He was one of our town hall participants, and his background is in accounting, and he loves his numbers. So I spoke to him. I did the article. It was a great little article, and he figured out how to run his business in a university town, which is going to be mostly short trips. He figured out what car to buy, etc., etc. So I rang him up. I said, Eli, how do you figure your numbers out? He goes, Serge, it's pretty easy, And then I go, okay, then why don't you send me a snapshot of how you figure this out? So he goes, okay, no problem. So these are his reasons why he does short trips: completing quests quicker, staying in promo locations. This is what everybody should be doing: staying in surge locations, more trip opportunities. Okay, so he does mostly short trips, right? Then he went and bought himself the perfect car for that, which is a Toyota Prius with the electric version of it as well. So, Chris, if you can switch to the next page real quick, and then we'll come back to this page. All right, there you go. From November 7th to November 14th, he worked 15 hours online time. Active hours, we don't count because we don't know. Uber doesn't show it. He did 52 trips. He grossed $608. He never said, I made $608, okay? And there is his breakdown real quick. So if you take $608 divided by 15, that's exactly $40. Now, you guys would think he's swimming in cash, $40 an hour. Oh my God, he's so lucky. I know in a lot of cities, drivers are not even coming close to $40 an hour online time. So from the surface of this, he's very profitable, right? I'm like, okay, so let's go back to the last page. Now he goes, look at this breakdown. Who does this? Is any of you guys doing this? I'm doing it. I know exactly my numbers like this. So I'm urging you people, please look at this. And you know what? You can pause this when you're rewatching it and then take a screenshot of just this page so you guys understand what his costs are. He earned $608. He drove 15 hours and 15 minutes, $39.86. I said 40, pretty close. 52 trips, 3.4 trips per hour, $7.71 fare per trip, $2.69 promo per trip, $1.26 tip per trip. Look at this guy. I mean, right? This is how you run a business.
All the averages.
This is how you run a business, Chris. He drove total 273 miles. That's total. That includes pickup and repositioning miles. $5.25 miles per trip. Okay. His car gets 57.4 miles per gallon, 4 3/4 gallons it took for him to do that. Now, in a business, there are fixed costs when you're running a car. Anything you have, in regarding transportation. There are fixed costs and there are variable costs. What are fixed costs? Fixed costs are your car note, your lease payment, your loan payment, your insurance. Those don't change, right? Those are fixed. That's why it's called fixed costs.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have variable costs. Variable costs are going to be maintenance. Something breaks on the car. The prices, tires are different this week than next week. Gasoline, obviously, which fluctuates. It's variable, right? This guy has it down to a science, bro. He goes, look at this shit, man. $16.36 in gas, $10.92 estimated maintenance, $65.72, which we're going to get into these deeper next couple of weeks. We're going to get into depreciation, which no driver figures out. We're going to get into, all these variable costs and your write-offs, potential write-offs for tax purposes are concerned. We're going to get into all of this. So I really want you guys to understand when I say decline garbage, why you should decline garbage. Then he figured out $27.30 depreciation. He goes, I deduct about 10 cents a mile because depreciation, we're going to get into next week in a segment. It's 5-year depreciation cycle on a car, okay? And then he's assuming this car is going to last him about 300,000 miles. So that's why he took 10 cents per mile depreciation. There you go. He goes $120 estimated variable cost because he added all those variable costs up there. Now he's down to $485 gross margin. How does he get there? He takes 608, takes 120 out. You're down to 485. Now let's get to the fixed expenses. $119.17. Insurance, car wash, cell phone, the car note. And now he's down to $366 net profit. Look what happened to that 608, people. It dropped to 366. Now, think about this. If he had said, oh, I made $608, look how wrong he would be. This is his reality. Now, he took 366 divided by 15 hours that he was online, $24 after all expenses, all. Now, how many of you do this? Because if you guys were doing this, then you would know exactly what your costs are. And then you know what a garbage trip looks like. Because in his case, it is not. Well, what happened to $40 gross? See that top number, $39.86 per hour, Chris? It dropped to $24 after all his expenses. That's That's $15 almost, right? And $15, expenses of variable and fixed costs expenses, he's down to 24 net. 24 net is a hell of a lot better than going standing somewhere for 18 bucks after taxes, maybe 14, 15 bucks or minimum wage. That's why he keeps driving. So people, if you're doing this and your numbers are falling way below minimum wage of your state, forget this bullshit flexibility and freedom. Seriously, we're a rideshare channel. We need viewers, right? But I'm telling you, people, I am telling you, you guys need to understand, this is not charity. This is not public service. If you're not profitable and you don't do your numbers like this, quit doing rideshare. Seriously, go find something else to do. And you guys would not have thought that out of 608, he would have been left only with 366 net profit. Well, there you go. This is how you guys have to run a small business, according to the CEO of Uber. We're a small business. Well, here you go. He's running his small business. Okay. So that's one. Number two, if you guys don't know your costs, then you will not know what garbage looks like, and you will take those $4 or $3, $5 trips. I'm sorry, you got to know your costs. So in the future episodes, I'm going to put an open spreadsheet for you guys so you can put all your costs. But let's go to the, and then he goes, I love to elaborate fixed costs. He's explaining. In fact, we may even have him on as a guest so he can comment. So now $608, and he's left with $350 out of the 608 after all his expenses, including taxes. How many of you people are doing this out there? How many? Because if you did this, trust me, you wouldn't be doing rideshare. You wouldn't be just coming and saying, oh, I made $1,000. No, you did not make $1,000. This guy did not make $608.73. He ended up making $345 after the expenses. Cars don't run on air. Okay, you guys got to figure out all your.
They don't. No. You're in your career as a gig worker. Period. Whatever app you're on does not run on dreams and wishes. It runs on costs, and you have to account for those costs. And what I just saw a comment in there that says most drivers won't do that. We know most drivers.
Well, that's why you're taking advantage of.
Why do you think? Probably. I'm going to say. Actually, you know what, Sergio? What do you think the percentage is right now that people are either at break-even point or less, meaning they actually have to owe money in the world?
80%. 80%.
I would say, yeah. And think about that. So you get those people to wake up and realize, and then they actually check and say, wow, these numbers are not correct. And then they say, I have some tough decisions to make. I like the freedom and flexibility, but if I'm doing it for $7 an hour at net pay, taking all expenses, then you got to figure that out. And let's say you're at 15 an hour state minimum wage. So, that's half the cost. So there's a lot of things. And, yeah, you're right. Drivers won't do that. And you already put in there. Hold on. You already put in there saying that you want to have a spreadsheet. That's what we're working on. We're actually working on that. That's going to allow a driver, anybody who wants to download it. It's not available yet. We have to, we got to plug in a lot of different things. It's actually going to take quite a bit of time for us to be able to do this. But we are going to break it in, or we're going to put it in where it's going to help you figure out what it is. And it's going to take, your costs, whatever it might be, and try to figure it out and compute it as close as it possibly can for you individually. So there is going to be some things that you're going to have to input, and you're going to have to do it, every shift or weekly when it comes to your earnings and, how many miles you've driven and things like that. But if you put it in, all of that can be broken down pretty simply. And you can actually see all the results that it'll spit out for you. So that is coming. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because that's going to be a huge, huge thing for drivers to be able to use and download.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing that you guys can do, okay, maybe you guys are not as elaborate as Levi is or I am. Okay, here's my suggestion to you people. Okay, as you know, the IRS deduction is 62.5 cents for all business miles. Business miles mean if you're just going to do rideshare that day and you left your house, from that time on, if you're not doing any personal driving whatsoever, you can take that deduction. If you're going to work a 10-hour shift, you can take all that deduction, because one, you're looking for a customer or a passenger. Then you accept a request on your way with a passenger in the car, 62.5 cents a mile. In his case, if I took just the 273 miles overall that is allowed under the IRS deduction and multiplied it times 62.5 cents, which includes depreciation, which includes a lot of expenses in there, okay, is $171. Well, if the guy made $608 and you took out $175, you still would not be at that $40 an hour. So simply put, until we put this spreadsheet out, elaborate one for you guys to input all your expenses, at least take the 62.5 cents as a guide, for God's sakes, man. If you look at a trip that's coming in and you figure out, the pickup to the passenger, pick up the passenger, drop off the passenger. If those 2 miles, add those two, this is not that difficult, man. Add the 2 miles. If the average that they're paying is less than 62.5 cents, don't even touch that trip. And there are a shit ton of those trips. That's what it's called, garbage. That's what garbage is. Okay. Maybe your threshold should be $1, so you have 37.5 net cent profit left to do. Because a lot of you are doing this for charity. I'm telling you, you are. Yes, you love the flexibility. Yes, you love the freedom. Well, charity has a price too. You guys should not be driving. I'm telling you. And then you guys keep driving because you love this so-called flexibility and oversaturate the damn marketplace. And then everybody loses. If you're profitable, do it. This is your small business. That's it. I mean, to me, it's like the people need to face reality. If you're making $25 an hour gross, average car, Chris, takes $5 to $7 an hour to run. You're right at minimum wage at that time. I'm like, is it worth it? Is it worth the risk? Is it worth getting stabbed? Is it worth having passengers in the car? Is it worth catching COVID at COVID time? I don't know. Everybody will make their own decisions.
That's the other reason why, too, like looking at these different options like Pharmacy or Octopus or Play Octopus, these different things that can help you make more money doing the same amount on the road is important for drivers who are taking this seriously. Those are just a few other options where, let's say Pharmacy, we get one, you and I both get one. I like driving more at night. You don't necessarily, but there's still things in there that you can use, throughout the day. So what is it? What's the total profit you can make on that?
Yeah, the total profit you can make if you sell every single item in there for $5, right? Because they suggest that you sell everything for $5 flat. You can, the box literally costs you $99.99 with full goodies in there. And you can turn that $100 into $350. There is enough items in there because you're selling it individually, right? So to me, that's one thing. But
there's different ways. So that's on top of it. But you got to figure out first your operating expenses and be able to figure it out that way. And whether that's
let's put the next guy's spreadsheet up, and then we'll go into the other. Okay, so so this we put up before. This is a gentleman in Florida. He was all businessman. His situation is different. He's a retired gentleman now. But here, this is as simple as it gets, bro. I'm just not going to go through his itemized list. Again, you guys can pause this and take a screenshot, but we should make these available, Chris, somehow. So he bought a 2020 Kia Niro for rideshare. He paid $32,000. Okay. He's figuring it's going to last. The middle column is 225,000 miles. That's where he figures it's a used car he bought. So he figured it's going to last him 225,000 miles. Simple goddamn math, bro. You take 32,000 divided by 225,000. It's 14 cents a mile. There you go. Look at all these itemizations: vehicle insurance, gas, tires, oil changes, wipers, detailing, cabin air filters, 6 of them, air filter. Now, he may be a little conservative with these, but that's okay. Now, look at the bottom where it says total cost. That $32,000 car in 225,000 miles, assuming he drives 50,000 miles a year, it's going to last him about 4.5 years. In 4.5 years, his per mile cost is 27 cents. Now that he's figured out his threshold is 27 cents, maybe it's slow. Uber sent him a trash at 60 cents. He'll take it because his net on this trip is going to be 43 cents a mile at 70 cents if they send him one. Or at 50 cents, maybe he's going to take one if he's on his way home on a destination filter. But he knows his cost. He knows his profit margin. He knows his return, ROI, return on investment. People, this is how you need to handle this shit. This is not public service. This is not charity. You're in it for you. You're not in it for the passenger. You're not in it for Uber, Lyft, Doordash, Grubhub, whatever the goddamn thing you guys are doing, Instacart, whatever it is. Know your cost. Then you can decide what trash is for you. For me, trash is anything less than $1.25 a mile because I have a newer car. So you guys need to figure this shit out. Maybe it is not worth doing rideshare. just because it's flexible and free. It's not. Nothing in this world is flexible or free. Nothing is. And there you go. These guys do the work. I urge you, I plead with you to do something similar, simple spreadsheet. I mean, this is not like 100 columns running side by side. We're not doing Amazon earnings here, man. This is just simple stuff. Please do this. Then you understand what your worth is. Then you understand what garbage is for you. That's all I'm saying. And then this gentleman went a step further. I want to answer this question. Sergio, he doesn't have depreciation in his sheet. He does actually. We're going to discuss that, Billy Attaway, next week in detail, because depreciation is really, really tricky. And at the end of the year, you know, a lot of people look at depreciation differently, a lot of accountants, right? So now, and actually he's answering his own question. Okay, so no need for depreciation, full cost of car is included. Yes, Norma, but we have to talk about depreciation because everybody's situation is different. You could be driving a $12,000 Prius that you bought used. That's depreciation factors on that car is a lot different than a $32,000 car. So here you go. This gentleman went a step further. Like, I love these guys. Please send me your. I look at him and I go, you know what? This is going on. Show me the money, bro. This is as good as it gets. This guy figured out the same thing. He has the first column per month, second column per week, third column per day, fourth column per hour. I mean, holy crap. And he broke all of these items: car loan, car insurance, fuel, vehicle maintenance, car washes, business supplies, tolls. And then in this one, you guys have got to add registration. And I talked to him, actually, he needs to add depreciation in here. But we're going to talk about that in detail. Now, what else does this guy do? This guy goes a step further. He puts his rent, monthly rent or a mortgage. He puts his utilities. So he even puts his daily living expenses in a spreadsheet to see what he has to make per hour to just live and have nothing left over at the end of the month. Right? I mean, I'm not trying to be draconian here, but this is freaking unbelievable, okay? This is as good as it gets. Because, you know, once you do your RideShare, finish your shift, come home, you figure out your expenses, you go, I was profitable, but now you're going to have to go spend money on rent and food and all that stuff. This guy put all those items in there too. He goes, I need to be at $28,027, and I'm not even sure he put his taxes in there yet, but his deductions is going to be high enough that he probably don't have to pay any taxes, right? So this guy went a step further, Chris. This guy figured out all his living expenses, right? So that's why I'm saying charity, right? When I say this, and I said this a couple of months ago, and people didn't like it. I go, listen, man, RideShare was a wonderful gig. Now it has become, I mean, in my opinion anyway, it's become you're borrowing remaining equity on your car to pay your bills and live, period. That's it. You have nothing saved. After a year, your car has 60,000 extra miles, your body is worn out, your back is hurting, and then what do you have to show for it? So if you're at that stage, please do not do RideShare. Don't fool yourselves. This is a simulation that you guys are in. Actually, this is the Rational Driver spreadsheet. Yep. So this is a simulation that you guys are in with artificial intelligence, machine learning. That's, you guys are against this animal, okay? Be careful. Be careful, okay? If you're making $25 gross per hour, bro, after expenses, I'm really, really suspect that you guys should not be doing this or going standing somewhere for $20 an hour. Granted, nobody likes a boss on top of their head, flexible bullshit, this and that. That's how these companies are selling themselves, and obviously it's doing, you know, good for them just for the fact that you guys are wearing out your cars. But please figure out your costs. We're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into this. I don't want anybody to quit driving. What I want you to figure out what your garbage level is. If you're driving a 10-year-old, you know, I mean, shit, a Prius has already 200,000 miles. Bro, your cost is going to be like 18 to 22 cents. Then take all the garbage. I don't care. But I don't see too many of those, Chris. I see a whole bunch of fucking new cars out there. People are willy-nilly accepting trips. I'm like, come on, you do this for a profit. Again, you're in it for you, not for Uber, not for Lyft, not for the passenger. At least that's my opinion. So.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club, with Sergio and myself. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.